Okay. Welcome everybody to today's webinar on post-military life. Today is November 16th, 2021. So before we get started today, just wanted to do some quick housekeeping. This is going to be a 2-hour webinar. You've probably received an email either last night or sometime this morning with information about the Zoom meeting, the login information so that you can be present today. Included with that email was there were a couple links, PDF copies of the veteran resource book. There's a link map in there, and then there's instructions on how to use the chat for Zoom. One of the things that I do want to say before we move forward is we're actually trying to move away from the chat. So for this event, we will be flooding the chat with resources for you guys, that resources that we've talked about or that we're covering. And so we don't want your questions to get lost in those resources. So for those of you that do have questions for any of the panelists today, please direct those questions to the Q&A tab that's there, either at the bottom of your screen or at the top of your screen. You could send your questions there for any of the panelists that are keeping an eye on that Q&A tab. You're more than welcome to answer those questions right there on the spot, or we could save those questions for the Q&A panel at the end. We have a few panelists here today who are going to cover information regarding, resources available in your region. We'll talk about education benefits. We'll talk about employment opportunities, and then we'll also talk a little bit about apprenticeship and on-the-job training for those individuals who are interested in that kind of work. This is the instructions on how to use that Q&A portion of the Zoom platform. So please direct all your questions there, and we'll answer them either throughout the webinar or at the end. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. My name is Michael Cisneros. I'm a training coordinator with the California Department of Veteran Affairs with their CalTAP program. I've been with CalTAP for about 2 years now, and I'm a veteran myself. I separated from the Air Force back in 2007 and went straight to school. And so, I'm familiar with some of the benefits that are available to veterans. I've used the benefits that are available to veterans. So I'm happy to be here today to explain a little bit more about what it is that's out there for you guys and how to take advantage of those. So what is CalTAP? Well, CalTAP is a training assistance program that's designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to the earned state and federal benefits, as well as provide continuous support and assistance as their needs change over time. And so what we've done in CalTAP is we've developed different pathways to help veterans navigate those benefits that are available to them. There's an entrepreneurship pathway that we have, an employment pathway, an education pathway. There's a general core curriculum pathway of benefits that don't fit into the topics that I just mentioned. And then we have a service provider pathway. The service provider pathway, we don't talk much about that, but if you do have anybody within your community or family members that do want to work with veterans, you can go ahead and send them to our website. They can find information on that pathway regarding military culture and how to effectively work with veterans. So this is a map of the veteran's life cycle. This is pretty much what we mean when we say we want to be there as the veterans' needs change over time. This is pretty much a life cycle from serving and separating all the way to retirement and aging. And what we want to do is we try to focus on these areas and provide benefits and resources that can help veterans no matter where they're at in this process. As you guys know, last week was Veterans Day. And so we focused on this month, we're focusing a lot on the veteran and their family members and some of the benefits that are available to them. So in the beginning of the month, we did have a service and separation webinar that talked a little bit about time-sensitive benefits that you might want to look into as you are transitioning into the civilian world. Today, we're talking about post-military life. We'll talk a little bit about those benefits that are available to you that can, get you through the day-to-day activities and help you out when it comes to housing or planning for your future. And then on the 30th, we will have a retirement and aging webinar that will focus on those things like homes for long-term care or burial benefits. So you can find more information about our program at calvet.ca.gov. Right there on the home screen, you'll find that CalTAP banner that you can click on. And clicking on that will take you to our pathways page. On your pathways page, you can click on any one of the modules, but if you're looking for information specifically about transitioning, you could always find that on module 10. This is going to be under the core curriculum pathway. So that's the first pathway, module 10, reboot your civilian self. You can find information about transitioning there. When you click on that module, you can find lessons that talk about boot camp in reverse, civilian culture, competency, introduction to your civilian self, and then also information about mentorships if you're looking for that. So transitioning to civilian life, here's some things that you might want to consider after you transitioned out of the military. One of the things you definitely want to do is look into community support services. These are organizations like AMVETS or Veterans of Foreign Wars. Basically, these are just support groups that are there to help you find that camaraderie that you missed in the military. They also allow you to look at how other veterans have successfully transitioned into the military. You kind of get their story. You hear how they've worked the system and done things right, and what they should have done differently. So those are the stories that you get with those support services. You also want to reconnect with family. So reconnecting with family, this is going to be your central support system. And so, understanding the different roles that you are taking on after you separate from the military is great to know, great to have, and also helps you transition and keep that support with you. The next thing you want to do is go back to school. So going back to school, there's education benefits available to you. We'll talk a little bit about those today. This is just another way that you can kind of surround yourself with people who have different viewpoints and can help you out with aspects of the civilian life that maybe you won't get from those groups, the veteran support groups. Always explore state benefits. We'll talk more about those coming up. Learn the basics of finance. So when you were in the military, the military did take care of you. They paid for, the food that you ate. They paid for your clothing allowance. They took care of your housing. When you're out of the military, you don't really have that support system anymore. So one of the things you definitely want to do is just kind of learn more about financial literacy and how to manage your finances. And then always prepare to join the workforce. We'll talk more about state employment and federal employment later on, but prepare to join the workforce is super important. Learn how to translate your skills that you learned in the military to civilian life, and understand what you're looking for when it comes to fulfillment with the work that you're looking into. So let's talk a little bit now about those benefits that are available to you. One of the main ones that we get a lot of questions on is the Calvet home loans. This is different than the federal VA home loans program. So our Calvet home loans program provides financing for veterans, competitive market interest rates, and they require low or no down payments. And so if you are in the market right now for a home, or just have questions about this program, wondering what's different compared to the federal VA home loans program, we recommend definitely reaching out to Brad Pedersen. Brad Pedersen works with Calvet. He's a program representative for the Calvet's home loan department. Loves answering questions about this. He actually encourages us to give out his contact information so that he can speak with as many veterans as possible. So for those of you that do have questions, feel free to reach out, his email address or his phone number, and he can answer those questions if needed. Education benefits, we'll talk a little bit about that later on as well. With your time in service, you may be eligible for 36 months of education benefits, or a total of 48 months if you combine that with the federal Veterans Readiness and Employment Program. You can actually use your GI Bill for a wide variety of approved education training programs. So those are programs like degree programs, on-the-job training, apprenticeship, programs like that. Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. I quickly mentioned this in the slide before, but this used to be called VOC Rehab, Vocational Readiness and Employment, but they went through a rebranding last year. So what this is actually an employment program. It's open to veterans with a disability rating of 10% or higher. And it helps veterans find suitable work that corresponds with their disability rating or the disability that they do have. On top of them helping you with finding work, there is a chance that you can also take advantage of more education benefits if your VRE counselor sees that you do need more education to find suitable work. This is where they can give you more benefits to equal up to 48 months. And there's also the vet centers vet centers for readjustment counseling. These are community-based counseling centers. They provide readjustment counseling to eligible veterans, active duty service members, and their families. The cool thing about the vet centers is they do have mobile centers that offer pretty much the same services as the on-site centers. So for those individuals who maybe can't make it to a vet center or the closest vet center to them, there may be a mobile center that's around that you can get to and still receive the services that you're looking for. Some other benefits, college tuition fee waiver for veteran dependents. This is a real popular one that we have with CalVet. Waives the college and tuition fees for all state-funded schools, so any UC, CSU, or California Community College. It is for veteran dependents, so it's there so that you can actually use your own education benefits and not stress about how you're going to send your own dependents to college. There's also programs with the DMV that make it easier for individuals to identify themselves as veterans. You can actually get the word veteran printed on your driver's license now. There's also a disabled veterans license plate program for those individuals who are 100% disabled. And if your disability affects your mobility, you may be eligible for disabled veteran license plates. It waives your registration annually. We also have outdoor activities for those veterans that like to hunt or fish or go to state parks. There's tax programs. Tax programs differ across the state. So if you are interested in tax programs like the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Program for those who are opening up their own businesses, or property tax exemptions, we just recommend you speak with your local county tax assessor, and they can talk to you more about these programs and eligibility requirements. And for women veterans and minority veterans, we have programs that offer information, advocacy, outreach, and support. With our minority veterans program, they also help with naturalization services. Our women veterans has a roster that you can sign up on, so you kind of stay in touch with some of the events that they have going on and know more about the outreach opportunities that are coming up. Homes for long-term care. So for our elderly veterans who are looking for homes, offer memory care, homes that offer in-home living care. We do have 8 different locations here in California that offer different levels of care. The locations are everywhere from Chula Vista down south to Redding up north. And then we have 3 state cemeteries. These cemeteries are different than the federal VA cemeteries that you probably are aware of. Our state cemeteries, we have one that is right outside of Monterey. We have another one that's right outside of Redding. And then there's the Yountville Veterans Home Cemetery, which is a part of the Yountville Veterans Home, and that's right outside of Napa. There is a 4th one in the works right now. We don't have much detail on that one yet, but it will be a Southern California state cemetery, so just be on the lookout for that. And before I go, I just want to bring your attention to some common websites that we think you should be familiar with as a veteran. The first one is va.gov. Now, I think of VA.gov as like a hub for veterans, and it's actually it's going to turn into that pretty much soon. They're taking away some of the other websites that you might be familiar with, and they're pretty much directing everybody to this website right here. So whether you're looking for information about the VA healthcare system or enrolling into the VA healthcare system, trying to file for disability, you want to look at your records, or you're trying to take advantage of your education benefits, you'll go to va.gov, and you'll get those processes started there. There's another cool website called My Healthy Vet. So this is if you are taking advantage of the VA healthcare system, you can go to this website to view your healthcare records. You can speak with your primary care physician or set appointments with them. And then you can also refill your prescriptions. So before I pass it on, I just want to let you know some ways that you could kind of stay in touch with us and be aware of some of that outreach and opportunities coming up, or webinars that we're going to be hosting soon. One of the things that you can do is provide your non-DoD email to our CalTAP inbox. That's caltap@calvet.ca.gov. You could always fill out a webinar survey. We will have a link for that posted in the chat. And then you've also probably received an email right now. I think it went out at the beginning of this webinar with the same link. The surveys aren't mandatory at all. You don't have to fill them out. But if you do fill them out, it just lets us know what we did well today, what we could work on in the future. Lets us know what kind of topics you want to hear about later on. So if you can, take the time to fill it out. If not, no worries. If you don't want to do those 2 steps, you could always register at My CalVet, or you can like us on Facebook and always attend our webinars. So that's my contact information. I know I kind of went quick over some of those benefits, but if you do have any questions about what we discussed, feel free to reach out. I can always send you another PDF copy of that Veterans Resource Book. That Veterans Resource Book has all the information that you need when it comes to those benefits that I brought up today. It talks about eligibility requirements, talks about the documents that you need to get certified and how to get them certified. So definitely take a moment to read through it and reach out if you have any questions. So now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Annette. Annette is our local interagency network coordinator. She is the Central Valley link, and she's going to explain how they work with veterans across California. So go ahead, Annette, when you're ready.
Thank you, Michael. Good morning, everyone. My name is Annette Walliver. I am the link, as we're referred to, but basically what I am is I'm a field rep for the state of California, and I'm one of 8 field reps throughout the state, and we work with federal and state agencies to ensure that veterans are aware of their benefits. Next slide, please. So actually, you can see that CalVet has divided the state into 8 regions. Each color is a region with a coordinating link. I'm the purple one. I'm the one in the middle, Central Valley. I basically am on the 99 most of the time, and it's great to get out there. We're doing outreach again, so it's wonderful. And we work as a group within our system, the 8 of us together. We coordinate information, but we also build up those relationships in each of our regions because we want to do augmented benefits for veterans. Next slide, please. So we provide outreach to service members, veterans, and their families by DoD installations. So we're actually serving active duty service members before they separate to make sure they're aware of their benefits. And then with community colleges, we're able to assist veterans who probably are recently separated. And then by building up our relationships within our collaboratives, with our committees that we work with in our communities, we can make referrals and work directly with established service provider networks. So state and federal offers a lot of benefits, but we want to find those additional benefits within our communities that can assist veterans and their dependents and active duty service members as well. And then we assist with local emergencies. We've been assisting with the fires this year. Last year, I was actually deployed to the local assistance center in Porterville for the SQF fire evacuees, and I also assisted with the Creek fire evacuees. And the veterans, in some cases, not only were their properties destroyed, but all of their paperwork. And that DD Form 214, that's like the most important piece of paper you can have. So make sure you have a copy available to you or have it stored somewhere. But by working with our County Veteran Service Office, We were able to get copies of that DD Form 214. And then working with Calvet Home Loans, Brad Peterson is who I work with directly. We were able to get a certificate of eligibility, and you need that either for a VA or a Calvet home loan. So they were able to go forward. And if they did have a Calvet home loan, we were able to assist them with the insurance. Currently, the 8 links of us, as well as a lot of individuals throughout Calvet, are taking the calls that go into 1-800 headquarters. Whether I get a call from Klamath Falls or San Diego, because I know the state and federal agencies that are available, I can assist them. But if we need to go deeper into their community, I can contact their link because they're the subject matter experts in that area. So as I said, we work independently, but together as a team. And then we provide leadership and advocacy to local communities. And we do this by staying in touch with our partners, the agencies that we work with, to inform them of their benefits, of additional benefits, changes, but also to see if there's any gaps in benefits that we can send that information to headquarters. Next slide, please. And then getting connected to your benefits. Well, I'm kind of the poster child for that. I served in the United States Army from 1975 to 1978. When I separated, I used my my GI Bill to get my degree. I got my VA home loan, and I thought that's pretty much it. And I didn't realize until 11 years ago that I still had additional benefits. I didn't even realize I was a veteran in some cases. So when I started working for the state, I felt compensation, which leads to additional benefits. I also enrolled in VA healthcare. So these are the agencies that we work with as links day in and day out to ensure that we have that partnership and we can get you connected. Employment and training, EDD, the Employment Development Department, actually has dedicated staff that work solely with veterans. I was an EDD vet rep for 8 years, so I know they can assist with whether it's getting you connected with employers or maybe it's building up your resume or interview skills. And then they're co-located in the America's Job Centers of California, which have the tools that you can use at no cost to you, scanners, printers, you can do job searching on their computers. So take advantage of the opportunities they have to offer, whether it's training, filing for unemployment, disability, or paid family leave. California state benefits, well, that's what we're all about at Calvet. And each state has different benefits and eligibilities. But we work hand in hand with the county veteran service offices, the CVSOs. There's 56 CVSOs throughout the state of California. They are our boots on the ground. They're trained by Calvet, and they can assist you with whether it's filing for compensation, pension, DMV paperwork, a college tuition fee waiver. They are the experts. So definitely contact them. If you don't know what your benefits are, they can walk you through that entire process and help you get to them. Healthcare, we have to be mindful of our healthcare. I know we've all of us have been kind of in our little homes and our cubbies, and I take advantage of VA medical centers, clinics, and vet center. You can do this. You can either go online if you want to get enrolled, or you can just call them and say, ask for enrollment. I find their healthcare unbelievably great. My benefits that I've been getting as far as appointments is VA telehealth. And so I'm able to do things online with them. So make sure that you connect with the VA healthcare. Next slide, please. So if you remember nothing else, this is my contact information. Please feel free to call me, reach out to me. As I said, I'm a service-connected United States Army veteran. I've used all of the resources in my community. I can do a soft handoff to those individuals that you need to speak to. So thank you very much for attending today, and thank you for your service.
Hey, thank you, Annette. Great information, definitely a useful resource. So definitely, if you have a chance, reach out to your local county veteran service, your local interagency network coordinator to get some resources that are in your area. So now I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about your education benefits, best practices, and recommendations. Some disclosure about myself. Like I mentioned earlier, when I separated from the military, I did go back to school. So I took advantage of all my benefits. I took advantage of the benefits that aren't part of your education package either. So this portion of the webinar is near and dear to my heart. I love helping out veterans, especially when it comes to education and reaching their educational goals. So seriously, if any questions do come up, please do not hesitate to ask. I'll do my best to answer them. So like the information that we discussed today, when it comes to your benefits that are given to you through Calvet, you can find this information on our website at calvet.ca.gov. When you click on that CalTAP banner, this is what that pathways page looks like. Click on any one of the pathways, but for this portion, we'll click on the education pathway, and it will take you to a modules page that looks like this. On the education pathways modules page, you'll find information about selecting a school. So it's not going to actually tell you which school you need to select, but it will let you know what you should be looking for as a veteran when you are choosing the best school for you or the best program. There's also modules on the higher education learning system here in California. So we have a module on the California community colleges, the UC system, and the CSU system. And then module 2 talks about the education benefits that are available to you. So for the most part, most veterans are taking advantage of the post 9/11 GI Bill or the Forever GI Bill, which is just like an improvement of the post 9/11. The Forever GI Bill ends the 15-year expiration date on your, I'm sorry, I got distracted. The Forever GI Bill ends the 15-year expiration date on your education benefits. So for those individuals who maybe were taking advantage of the MGIB or the post 9/11 GI Bill, you did have to use your benefits within a certain amount of time, or else you lost them. So for that Forever GI Bill, you no longer have to worry about that. You actually can go back and continue your education goal or reach your education goals whenever the time's right for you. For our Purple Heart recipients, we have you're actually eligible for your full amount of benefits, regardless of how long you served. And then for those individuals who use their benefits on a school that probably had a school closure because of accreditation reasons or predatory practices, we actually are helping them get those benefits back. We've also increased the amount of payment that you get for those who've served less than 12 months. So now for those individuals who've served 90 days, you are eligible for, I believe it's 50% of the education benefits available to you. The longer you serve, the more you are eligible for. And then for those individuals who are going for a STEM degree, so that's a science, technology, engineering, or math degree, there is a program that extends your benefits to 48 months, I believe. And that's just because we understand with those STEM programs, it does take a little bit longer to reach your goals. We're actually going to talk about that right now. So with that STEM scholarship, it's the Edith Rogers Norris STEM scholarship, I believe. Offers up to additional 9 months of post 9/11 benefits. This is available to those individuals who have 100% disability rating. And with this an honorable discharge, also with this program, you would have had to complete at least 60 units in your program to be eligible for the STEM scholarship. This program can't be matched by the Yellow Ribbon program, which we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And it's not transferable to dependents. So if you want to find out more about what's offered to you by a school or what's offered to you based off of your disability rating or eligibility, you can always go to va.gov and click on the eligibility link. There's also a GI Bill comparison tool that you could use. The GI Bill comparison tool, you can enter in a city, a school, or employer name, and when you search, it will bring you to a page that looks like this. This just kind of compares the different schools within that city or within that zip code radius, compares them so that you can see what's offered by the school. So with this example, we see Solano Community College. It's letting us know how much a student would get each year annually with tuition, how much they get monthly on housing, and then if there's a books stipend that's given annually. If you want to know more about how that's broken up per semester, per quarter, you can always click on that view details link. and it will break down that information even more. By clicking on the view details link, it's also going to let you know if the school has ever had any red flags that you should be aware of before enrolling. This is just a quick snapshot of how expensive it is to go to school these days. As you can see, for those individuals who are living with a parent, it's going to be about $28,000. Living off campus is about $32,000. So it's pretty expensive. They're taking into consideration tuition and fees, your living arrangements, books and supplies, transportation, and then everything else. So we put this in there because we want you to understand that there's more to your education goals than just paying your tuition and fees. You also have to think about how you're going to live, how you're going to study. Do you have the supplies you need to study? Are you able to get to and from class? And then also, are you just able to have some money set aside to take care of your own mental health? Sometimes you just need to escape and not think about school. And so just letting you know, all these things do go into how much you have to consider paying when you do want to attend school. And so with your benefits that you have, we know that it takes 120 credits minimum to attain your bachelor's. And this doesn't require your prerequisite courses or your remedial courses. And so for those individuals who are enrolled full-time, that's 12 units fall, spring, and then 6 units for the summer. We see that your GI Bill is only covering 116 credits total. And so what that means is you will have to come out of pocket to pay for the rest of your education program. On top of that, you are still thinking about transportation, room and board, personal expenses, and such. So we have a couple tips that we want to bring to your attention that could probably help you reach the end of your education goals. The first one is you want to take more than 12 units. And so by taking 12 units, you could actually fulfill your graduation requirements at least one semester early. So in this example, we have a student taking 15 units. That's 3 units over the full-time amount. So anything over 12 units is always going to be considered a full-time student. You're taking more units within the semester, just means you're going to finish faster than the average student. Tip 2, consider certifying at 3/4 time. So you're certifying the time of attendance at 3/4 time. What this does is it helps stretch out your benefits from 36 months to 45 months. The only kind of downside of this plan is that your BAH is also going to be certified at 3/4 time. And you also have to worry about covering that 1/4 remaining of units that your GI Bill didn't cover. So you will have to come out of pocket for this if you are doing it this way. But there are ways that you can supplement that missing BAH and also have your tuition paid for. So if you are attending a California community college, there's a California Promise Grant, which covers your tuition and fees. So, on top of your GI Bill covering that 3/4 amount, your California Promise Grant will step in and cover the remaining amount. With BAH, we'll talk a little bit about federal work study on the next slide, but that can step in to cover the 1/4 amount that you're not getting every month. So participating in federal work study is the next tip. This is pretty much a job. You're performing veteran-related duties. You're getting paid out at a federal or state minimum wage, depending on which one's higher. I believe in California, our state minimum wage is higher. So that's the rate you'll get paid out. It's flexible. It's flexible because your employer understands that you're a student first. And so they're usually really good about working around student schedules, giving them the time off that they need to study or prepare for tests. And like I mentioned in the last slide, it does offset that cost of attendance. So you're getting paid out on a monthly basis. So if you are certifying your classes at a 3/4 time and getting that BAH at 3/4 time, this will be there to supplement that missing part that you're not getting. And then also BAH isn't given in between semesters or quarters. but you can work in between semesters and quarters. So if you are receiving federal work study, this just kind of continues that, make sure that you are continuously getting paid while you're waiting for the next semester to start. Tip 4, withdrawal versus F. This is more something that you should probably just consider and speak with a counselor with first before making a decision. With your withdrawals and Fs, both of these can affect your education goals. So if you do withdraw from a class, you do have to worry about whether or not that class is part of your education program. Do you have to take it over again? Do you need a passing grade to transfer or graduate? One of the main things that we want you to understand about a withdrawal is that if you signed up for 12 units and you withdrew a class and you dropped down to 3 units, you're no longer a full-time student. And so if you've used that money up and they find out that you did drop that class, which they will find out that you did drop a class, then you will have to pay back that money because that's not yours. You weren't enrolled in full-time. With an F, F is if that F was earned, meaning that you went through the class, you took the final and you still didn't pass, you don't have to worry about paying back that money, but you do have to worry about fixing your transcript, fixing your GPA, especially if you are trying to transfer or if you're getting ready to graduate. So just some things to think about, a give and take. Withdrawals, they don't hurt your GPA, but they do stay on your transcripts and you do have to fix them if needed. Fs hurt your GPA, but if you earn the F, you don't have to worry about paying back money. And tip 5, use a veteran resource center. So this is kind of just another area where students can go and build social support on campus with other veterans who probably experience or have the same kind of experiences that they've had. They could come here and study. Sometimes there are veteran counselors on site that could speak with them. Sometimes they could turn in documents and paperwork to these centers. So it just depends on which school you're going to, but just a resource center that you can go to and continue building that camaraderie that you missed when you did separate. So this slide right here, financial assistance, this isn't part of the education benefits package that's given to you for separating from the military, but this is financial aid that's available to all students. And we put this slide in because it's important to use, and most of them are time sensitive. And so for FAFSA, which is a free application for federal student aid, that's the application that you fill out to receive the Pell Grant, to receive the Cal Grant. If you're looking into student loans, you'll need to fill out a FAFSA. Most of this financial aid is only given to students who are at a undergraduate level. So once you received your bachelor's, you're no longer eligible for the Pell Grant or the Cal Grant. California Promise Grant is given to all California community college students, waives the tuition and fees at a community college level, only there for the community college level. And then there's scholarships, which you can actually take advantage of scholarships, if that's part of the eligibility requirements for the different scholarship you're applying for. Most campuses do have a scholarship office. If they don't, you could always Google scholarships. There's veteran-specific scholarships that you can look into. And there's a Yellow Ribbon program, which is given to veterans who want to attend any private school, like a private school that like California, or I'm sorry, the UC Southern California. I'm sorry, not UC Southern California, University of Southern California. It's a private school. It's pretty expensive. So for those individuals that do want to attend that school, you may be able to participate in the Yellow Ribbon program, which will help you cover the remaining costs of attendance to go there. With this, I do want to say, I know every student's situation is going to be different, but if you do have a chance to use these first, try it. Like I said, I started off at a California community college. I was using the Promise Grant. Practically went to school for free for the first 2 years of my college life. Transferred to a UC as a junior, and started using my FAFSA, and I also started using my education benefits there. Graduated with my bachelor's after using my education benefits and FAFSA because I had eligibility left over with my Pell Grant, or I'm sorry, not with my Pell Grant, but with my GI Bill. That kind of helped me make the decision to go for my master's. It was always about the money for me. I didn't know if I was going to be able to pay for my master's, but because I had this money left over, I was able to use it for a good program. So just putting that out there, letting you know that this financial assistance is here for a limited amount of time throughout your education program. Your GI Bill, which if you are taking advantage of that forever GI Bill, will be there forever. You don't have to worry about using it within 15 years or losing it. So information about your education benefits. If you have more questions about what I discussed or kind of want to talk a little bit more about your situation, feel free to email me. If I can't answer your questions, I will definitely try to get you to somebody who can. That I'm going to go ahead and pass it on now to Jana. Jana is a training coordinator like myself, and she's going to talk a little bit about the entrepreneurship pathway and veterans who are interested in opening up their own business. So go ahead, Jana, when you're ready.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael. And that was a lot of really great information about all the education. I'm the one behind all the links in the chat section. So I'm trying to add in some good websites and good links. Somebody had mentioned that there was possibly a link that didn't work. If that's the case, I'm so sorry. I'll try to send the correct link once I jump off doing some presenting, but I'm really excited to be here. I'm one of the training coordinators along with Michael on the CalTAP team. And today I just want to give you guys some information on starting your own business. And I'm going to give you guys a lot of really great resources, a lot of really great websites to go visit. And then if you have, I'm probably going to go through some of the information pretty quick. But if you have questions about it later on, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you with that, or you can ask in the question and answer section too, or tab, and we'll get to those questions in a little bit. So we'll go ahead and get going. If you want to jump to the next slide, please. So first, I kind of want to give you a little bit of background on veterans in business. So currently right now, there's around 2.5 million veteran-owned businesses in the US. But what's really great about that is 10% of them are right here in California. So this is a great place if you want to start your own business. This is kind of just kind of a snapshot of some industries that seem to be more on a trend of what our veterans are starting. So just to give you an idea of just some different ideas and industries that that are out there for the veteran-owned businesses. Next slide, please. So you may be wondering, how do I start my own business? And we tried to break it down in kind of a 5-step process just to kind of give you a snapshot on what you would need to do and kind of give you a big picture. So the first thing is you're going to want to create a solid business plan. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to basically be a roadmap that's going to tell you how to structure and run your business, as well as how to make it successful and how to keep it growing. You're going to want to ask yourself, is there a market for your business in the city, town that you live in, or maybe you need to think about moving it to a different location or a different region in the state. Then you want to also think about your business structure. So do you want to start an LLC, maybe a corporation, maybe it's a nonprofit, something like that. Business structure is going to be really important because that's going to influence everything from your day-to-day activities all the way to things about when you're doing your taxes, things like that. And then once you've established your business structure, you're going to need to file your tax and your employer information, and then you're going to want to obtain any necessary permits or licenses or things like that. Next slide, please. So now I want to give you guys a little bit of a laundry list, but just a bunch of small business resources that can be really helpful when you're starting your own business. So the first one is the Secretary of State's office. And they're going to provide a business checklist that is going to be a fantastic but also general tool that's going to it's going to basically let you assess in more of a broad manner of how to start a business in California. Next slide, please. Okay, so next I want to go over GoBiz. So this is the Governor's Office of Business Economic Development. They serve as the state's leader for job growth, for economic development, and then business assistance efforts. They're going to offer a wide range of services that are going to be really resourceful to business owners that are going to be things like site selection, permit assistance, small business assistance, things like that. Next slide, please. And also, if you guys can see that the websites are listed as well under the little pictures or icons. But okay, so now this is the California Office of Small Business Advocates, and this is going to be a really great resource. This is going to be more, it says it right there, it's a one-stop shop, and it's going to give you lots of really great resources and ideas of how to navigate through starting a business. So this is a really great website to go see. Next slide, please. Next is the California Grants Portal. And this is a great website. You can actually subscribe and get emails to keep getting information from them. There are grants all the time everywhere that probably you haven't heard of, that nobody knows about. So it's really great that you can search for grants and help you get money to start your business. So this is a really great resource to go see first. Next slide, please. Okay, then we have DGS, or the Department of General Services, and they are going to, so they have an office, their procurement division is the Office of Small Business and DVBE Services. So they're going to house a lot of the information that is needed to start a small business, but also they have a webinar series that's really, really great to view. As you can see here, the topics are how to do business with the state of California, if that's something that you are wanting to do. Once you're certified, what do you do with that certification? And then also contracting with the state government. So really, really great webinars to check out to maybe broaden your options and see if that could be something that you would want to do with your business. Next slide, please. So there's also Cal eProcure. And this is going to be if you want to sell your goods and resources to the state of California. You're going to be able to see how to get certified. Any procurement information that's pertaining to your business will be there. And then there's also training and resource guides right on their website, which is really great. Next website, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so now I want to give you just some small business resource or some federal small business resources that would be really helpful. The first one is the Small Business Administration, or we like to call it the SBA. There's lots of acronyms here with the state of California, as you're already probably used to in the military world. So the SBA, they're going to assist with planning and launching of your business. So this is a really great resource. There's lots of webinars, there's trainings on lots of things like how to manage your business, different counseling, things like that. So this is a really great resource to go see. Next slide, please. I guess these are all really great resources to go see. So the next is the Veteran Business Outreach Centers, or VBOCs. They're located all over the US. We've got 2 in California, 1 in Sacramento, and then 1 in San Diego County in Carlsbad. What they do is they're going to provide developmental services to anyone that is interested in starting or growing their business. So this is a great resource, especially if you live close in the 2 areas that they're located. You can always look them up online. But if you go to the next slide, if you do not live close to any VBOCs, you guys can also go to score.org. This is a really great website. I believe it's all free online resources, and they're going to offer that same kind of education, that mentoring for new business owners or for existing business owners. So this is a really great place to brush up your skills and probably learn a lot of new things about running a business. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are a few non-government-based resources. US Veteran Business Alliance, the Elite SDVOB Network, and then the Veterans in Business Network. These are all groups that are really great because they're going to do lots of things for you. They're going to offer networking, they're going to offer education, they're going to offer mentoring. There's lots of webinars on their websites to go see. It's really great, especially the networking aspect, to meet new people. You never know who's going to need your business to help them, or who has a friend that, wants to join in or help you out, or can sell to somebody else for you. So it's really, really great networking resources here. Next slide, please. Okay, so the next couple slides are going to kind of be in this grid format, so we can kind of show you the differences. So when you go to get certified, whether you're going to get certified on the state side or the federal side. So on the state side, and again, there's going to probably be lots of acronyms here. I'll try my best to explain them. On the state side, you're either going to have the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise, or DVBE, or the Small Business, or SB. And on the federal side, it's the Service Disabled Veteran Business, or SDVOB. So when you're wanting to figure out which certification to go through, you're going to want to ask yourself a couple questions. Do large corporations or government agencies purchase my goods or services? Or does my company have the necessary insurance, bonding, and administration to perform work on those entities? Next slide, please. So these are just some benefits of the different certification programs, stateside versus federal side. So there is a 3% contract solicitation goal. So that means that that these veteran-owned businesses are going to get that solicitation at least 3%. So that's really great. In California, there is actually a SB or DVBE first policy. So that a lot of different agencies and departments do. Calvet is one of them. So that means that if somebody is looking to sell goods and services, we're going to look at the veteran-owned businesses first. So that's a really great benefit. The way you register for the stateside versus federal side, stateside is through CalEProcure. And then the federal side is through the System of Award Management, or the SAM, like we like to call it. So there is lots of differences between the two. I won't go into much more detail, but if you guys have any other questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call, or you can always email us too. Next slide, please. So, and then these are some eligibility requirements. So just some subtle differences between the two, whether it's state or federal side. So with both, you need to have at least a 51% ownership or control from the veteran with a service-connected disability. On the state side, it just needs to be at least 10%. On the federal side, you just need to have a rating, so 0 to 100%. There are LLCs who must be wholly owned or by one or more disabled veterans. But on the federal side, the business must be also qualify under the SBA small business standards for their particular industry. So again, there are some subtle differences between the state or the federal side. If this is something that you are interested in more details about, please reach out to us so we can explain further. Next slide, please. So how do you get DVBE certified? Well, you're going to have to get all these different documents that you're going to want together, or get them together, and then you're going to go to CalEProcure. That's the website for the Small Business Disabled Veterans Business Enterprise. And then you're basically just going to click on the certification. Doing it online is obviously the fastest way to get certified. If you go to the next slide, we'll show you what the website looks like. Once you get there, you just click right in the middle, and then it'll basically be a step-by-step process for you in filling out the application. Next slide, please. So this is a really great resource. So here at Calvet, we actually have 2 DVBE advocates, and it's Daniel and Shuri. You can email them with any sort of question that you have. That's what they're here for. So their email address is right there. It's dvbe@calvet.ca.gov. There is also a Calvet DVBE request for response that you can click on our website. So you just go to the Calvet website. And actually you can, if you go up to the top right-hand corner, there's a little search engine, a little magnifying glass, and you can type in their DVBE request for response and it'll come up right here. But you can ask lots of questions right there as well, or you can email them directly. They do lots of really great things, including sitting on, or they help to run the advisory council, which meets, I believe, a couple times a year, so quarterly. So they are a fantastic resource for starting your own business. Next slide. So how do you get SDVOB certified on the federal side? Well, kind of much like on the state side, you're going to want to get all these documents together that are listed, and you're actually going to go to login.gov. You have to create an account, and then once you are logged in there, then you go to the SAM and you register your business there. If you go to the next slide, you'll see the website right here. This is what you do. You just do register entry, and then it'll walk you through the process, just like it does on the state side as well. Next slide, please. So I know that was probably information overload, but again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. This is my contact information. That 800 number is the phone number that's on back of the resource book, and I'm going to go ahead and post the PDF copy of the resource book here in a couple minutes, so you guys have that again. But then also, that's my email address as well if you have any questions, and we definitely look forward to hearing from you if you do. So I believe now we are going to take a short break.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Yeah. Thanks, Jenna. Yeah, we'll just take a quick break. So I think it was a 15-minute break, 10-minute break.
yeah, let's do 10.
5.
Schedule.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's do 5, so we can stay on schedule. I think we're a little behind right now. So yeah, let's come back by. Oh man, my clock's off. Let's come back by 11.
02.
11:02. Thank you. And then we'll go ahead and start off with the employment section.
Great.
All right, let's go ahead and continue. We're going to bring back Jana. She's going to talk a little bit about the California employment landscape and also kind of give you a step-by-step process on how to actually apply for state positions. So go ahead, Jana, when you're ready.
All right, thank you. I just posted the link to the employment pathway because I'll be talking when I'm mentioning it. So I wanted to kind of do it ahead of time. So I want to give you guys some great information on the employment side. If you want to go to the next slide. You can find all of this on our website. A lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about. So you can just Google Calvet. Once you get to our website, Michael had showed you earlier, you scroll down a little bit and you'll see the, I believe it's the laptop icon. And then right under it says CalTAP. This is our CalTAP page. And then you can click on the employment pathway link. And this is what you'll see. All of our pathways are set up in this module format like this. So we'll probably be concentrating most on modules 5 and 6, the federal and modules 4 and 5, the federal and state employment, and then kind of delving in a little bit here and there in some of the other modules. So let's go on to the next slide. So when you guys are preparing to apply for a job, and really, I'm going to give you guys a lot of tips today, but really this is good for kind of any job, not just state or federal jobs. But when you are going to apply for a job, you probably know you need to submit a resume, usually with every job application. Hopefully you all either have one that is at least started, or maybe you have one you haven't looked at in a long time. But a really great way to always kind of keep your resume updated is to have an ongoing updated master resume at all times. And if you don't know what a master resume is, it's basically a laundry list of all the jobs and volunteer opportunities that you had. And it's going to be a resume style. So it'll list your job title, where you worked at, maybe bullet points or paragraph style, however you like to do it, on your job duties and what you did while you were there, and then possibly your supervisor's name. That way, when you guys are going to apply for a job, you're looking and searching for jobs, you find one that you like, that, and you say to yourself, well, gosh, these job responsibilities that I would be doing, I've already done this in 3 different jobs that I've had in the past. So you can go back to your master resume and say, these are, these 3 jobs, I perform these same duties, and take those 3 jobs and put those onto a target resume, and that'll be your resume for applying for that job. So you can kind of target the jobs that you've had in the past to make a resume that will be for the job that you're applying for, if that makes sense. You also want to match the terminology. And what I mean by that is taking the verbiage that you're seeing in the job descriptions or the duty statement or whatever it's called, and using that in that target resume. So, and also what you want to make sure to do is adjust the military language of maybe what the job duties you performed in the military. So that way it matches that terminology in the job descriptions that you're reading about the job that you're applying for. So if the job description is reading, reports and summaries, maybe updating materials, things like that, make sure you use those keywords in your target resume. So you always want to keep a ready list of references, professional references that are updated and current. A good idea is to have somebody that was a supervisor while you were in the military. That's always good, because if your hiring manager does call and ask questions for a reference, the supervisor that's in the military will be able to take the duties that you performed in the military and kind of translate that into a more civilian language. So that way the hiring manager knows exactly what you did. Always know that your federal resume is different than a non-federal resume. Federal resumes are typically a little bit longer. They can be anywhere from 6 to 10 pages, depending on what the job is. When you are applying for a non-federal job, you want to keep your resume to no longer than 1 to 2 pages. And then always find out if a company or agency offers any sort of veterans preference or points. We're going to go over a little bit because you can get both of those with the state and the federal side when applying for jobs, but always find out if any company does, because that could get your foot in the door faster for an interview or the job. Next slide, please. So when you are looking to apply for jobs, you want to kind of think outside the box a little bit, see the bigger picture. You know, maybe the higher rank you are in the military might be a little bit harder to find such a high paying position or a high status position outside of the military just right off the bat. So maybe if there is a company or industry that you are really interested in, then maybe trying to apply for a position that could be under where your current rank is now. That way you can get your foot in the door with that company or foot in the door with that industry, and then you can move your way up quickly from there. Always consider the competitiveness of your market. Of course, it seems everyone's always looking for a job right now. So just make sure that you are, when you're applying, don't just focus on maybe one particular job. Try to see, look at those job duties and see if you can find other jobs that have those job duties too. Don't leave relocation off the table. The job or industry or company that you are interested in and are wanting to apply for, maybe there's more opportunity in a different town nearby or a different county, or maybe it's Northern California versus Southern California, but don't leave that option off the table. And then make sure that you're not getting discouraged. I don't know a single person who has applied for the exact job that they wanted the first time and then got it. So sometimes it takes applying for lots of jobs, and sometimes it can be a numbers game. Next slide, please. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about getting a job on the state or federal side. First, we're going to concentrate on federal employment, and I'm probably going to be able to tell you a little bit more about the state side because Department of Veterans Affairs is a state department on the state side, of course. But if you are looking to get a job on the federal side, you are going to want to go and visit usajobs.gov. And this website is going to have everything you need all in there. You're going to be able to fill out your profile. You'll be able to fill out your applications. You'll be able to search for jobs. You are able to apply for jobs, obviously. So you can do lots of things with this website. It's exactly where you want to go. And veterans who qualify for veterans preference points based on their service are going to either receive a 5 or 10 point on their civil service examination or experience and education evaluation. And then there's also the veterans recruitment appointments. And this is a special hiring authority that's going to allow an agency an agency to non-competitively appoint an eligible veteran. Next slide, please. So this is going to be a snapshot of usajobs.gov. This is what the website looks like. And you're just going to either click on the create a profile or you're going to click on sign in, and then you'll be able to apply and search for jobs and do all that great stuff on that website. Now, how do you apply for federal preference points? Next slide. You're going to go to fedshirevets.gov, and you are just going to click on it probably says veterans preference. It's just so small. Sorry about that. So you'll click on there, and then you'll click on the actual form. And then this is the form that you fill out. So it's going to tell you directions on what to include with it. It'll definitely, you'll want to include your 214, of course, and then it'll tell you where to send it to from there. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit more about state employment. Like I said, I'm probably going to give you a lot more fun facts about state employment because we are state employees. So I know the process a little bit better. So why work for the state? Well, we're the largest employer in California. We have lots and lots of agencies and state departments located everywhere, from all the way up at the top, Redding, Wairika area, all the way down to the San Diego County area. There's great salary and benefit packages that come with every single state job, vast career opportunities. So any job that you can think of with there's probably a state agency for it. And then everything is pretty stable. My job is, unless I'm traveling a little, it's typically Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I know when I am done for the day, I can stop thinking about it, concentrate on, my family life. And then the next morning, my work is waiting for me. So nice and stable. All right, next slide, please. Just some benefits of working for the state. Always thinking about retirement. We have CalPERS pension plan and always the Savings Plus plan. Those are great resources. We have full health, dental, and vision benefits. which is really great. I know for me, I've got 2 small kids, so somebody's always needing to go to the doctor or the dentist, something like that. There is an employee assistance program offered with the state and or EAP. There's probably an EAP program at most companies that you would work for, but this is a really great resource if you haven't heard of it. Basically what it is, it's a way to get assistance if you need it. So if you're needing counseling sessions, maybe you're needing to seek a lawyer, it will give you options on who you can see. Sometimes there's, a couple of free sessions or there's a discounted rate. So it's a really great program, and yeah, that's really great. And there's also paid trainings state sends you to. So if you want to brush up on some of your skills or learn new skills, we will send you to training. You don't have to pay for it. And then everyone's favorite holiday sick leave, vacation, and of course, military leave is offered as well. Next slide, please. There's also there's a sick leave act. It's the Wounded Warriors Transition Leave Act. And what this does is this is going to grant you 96 hours of sick leave that you can use if you need treatment for a military service disconnected or a military service connected disability. You do have to have at least a 30% rating, but the qualifications are all listed on the website. And you can always call us for more information about that. But this is a really great benefit to working with the state. Next slide, please. Okay, so how to get started. We have also broken this process down into a 5-step process, just like starting your own business. So basically the 5-step process is going to be create a profile at jobs.ca.gov, apply for your veterans preference, search for career opportunities. You do have to take and also pass an exam or an assessment to get a job with the state, and then also to be promoted. And then you apply for open positions and participate in a hiring interview. Next slide, please. So this is the website, jobs.ca.gov. This is kind of where you're going to get started at. You would go up to the top right and click login. Once you do that, you can start creating a profile. This is what it'll look like. You'll either create your account or you can use your user ID and password and log in. Once you have created everything, this is what your profile will look like. Everything will be filled out, of course, but this is going to kind of be your homepage. So there's lots of tabs on the side. There's a place where you can store, when you apply for any jobs, it stores all of that for you, so you don't have to write anything down. When you take and pass exams, it also stores all the scores, and that's a great thing because certain exams are only good for certain amounts of time. Some exams are only good for 6 months. Some exams are only good for a year. So that's a great way to have them stored. Then you can also store different things like you can upload documents, things like your resume, your professional references. If you have a degree or any certifications, you can upload those and store them in your profile. So when you are applying for state jobs, it's easy just to pull those from your profile and attach them. Next slide, please. So veterans preference. So when you, like I said, you have to take and pass an exam with the state. So basically when you, like a passing grade would be, say, a C. So you can either get an A, B, or C level on a test. We'll use that as an example. So say you take and you pass an exam, so that way you can apply for a job with the state or apply for a promotional opportunity with the state. You take your exam and you pass it with a C grade. Well, when the hiring manager goes to look at everybody who passed the exams, so they can pick out candidates for the interview, as long as they've met all the qualifications on their application, they're going to first pick in that A grade level. So by the time they were to, say, get down to the C grade level, they've probably already picked a candidate. However, if you fill out a veterans preference form and you mail it in with your 214, you can have that attached to your profile with the state. And even though you got that C passing grade, you automatically get an A grade, and you get in that top ranking, basically. So that way you can hopefully get an interview. So it's a very easy thing to do. You basically just fill out a form and you automatically get to the top of the list. So when you take an exam, hopefully that all makes sense. If it does not, please call us with more questions and we can go over that more. Next slide, please. So you just go to, when you're at the jobs website, you click on veterans right there in the middle, and then you click on the veterans form. And this is what it looks like. You fill this out and you end up turning it into CalHR. You'll end up sending your 214 in there with you. You can only use this one time. And what I mean by that is you can apply for as many jobs as you want and take and pass all the exams. But once you actually get a job with the state, you can't use that veterans preference anymore. However, once you have a job with the state, it's a little bit easier to move around from department to department if you want to go to a different position or if you want to get promoted. Next slide, please. So once you want to find a job, you can just click on Find Jobs right at the top. And you can search geographically. It looks like we're going to be searching in San Bernardino County today. So if you click on there, you are going to come up with a laundry list of different jobs that are available. This is the style. You're going to see lots of really funny names. I'm a training coordinator. However, my actual working title is Associate Governmental Program Analyst, or AGPA, which is a mouthful. So a couple things to pay attention to here. It's going to show you your salary range, whether your work type. So this one is a permanent full-time position. And then where the arrows are, it's going to tell you the filing deadline. Something really important to pay attention to. It's going to tell you the last day that you can turn it in. So it looks like this job, you needed to have everything turned in by November 1st, of 2019, so a little while ago. But if you were to turn it in on November 2nd at 12:01 a.m., your application would be thrown out because it wasn't on time. So just make sure you pay attention to that detail. Sometimes it could say until filled, and that just means that they are looking for the right candidates. Maybe they have multiple positions open, so they're just going to be picking people until the positions are filled. So just pay attention to that detail. Next slide, please. So once you do pick a job that you want to look at, this is what you'll see. You'll want to click on the duty statement. And this is what it looks like. It's going to just tell you what percentage of the day you're doing what. So 40% of the day you're doing this, 30% of the day you're doing this, and so on and so on. Next slide, please. And also, too, from that job description, going back to making your resume, that's where you're going to want to pull terminology from and have some of the terms that they're using of what you're going to be doing in this position, move those to your target resume and kind of change the language a little so it matches that terminology. So you've looked at the job description, you like the job, you think you'd be a good fit for it, so you can click Apply Now. And once you do, it'll ask you if you need to obtain eligibility or have you taken and passed an exam. If you haven't done that, you click that you want to obtain your eligibility, and then you click on the job position title, and then you can click on the actual taking the exam, and then you take the exam. So you're probably wondering, I've said it a whole bunch of times, but what is this exam I keep talking about? There are a couple different types of exams. There's an open exam that's available to both state employees and someone not employed with the state that meets minimum qualifications. Or there are promotional exams, which are open to any state employee or any veteran. And if you go to the next slide, there are just a couple different methods of how we do the exams. So there's the online exam, pretty self-explanatory. You take an exam online, probably multiple choice. There's a qualifications appraisal panel, or QAP, interview style. So you'd have anywhere from 2 to 5 people asking you interview style questions, and then you grading you on your answers. And that would be, if you get enough points, you pass the exam. A written exam is where you will submit a piece of writing. They'll give you a topic and you'll submit something. A supplemental exam is where you complete a list of questions that are going to relate to either your experience and or your education. So an example of that would be, how many years have you managed a group of 3 or more? 1 to 2 years, 3 to 4 years, 5 to 6 years, so on and so on. And then education and experience, or E&E exam. This is the most commonly used exam currently, to my knowledge. And this is the easiest one too, because you actually don't have to do anything at all. What the hiring manager does is they look at your application and your resume and all the documents that they had you turn in with the application, and they give you a score based on the information you provided. So this also goes back to the matching terminology. So you may get more points for matching terminology that was in the duty statement if you add that into your application or your resume. So also another good reason to do that. Next slide, please. So once you've passed that exam, you can apply for the job. So you just click on apply. And you can either use one of the application templates you have stored in your profile. You can store up to 3 different application templates. That way you don't have to keep recreating the wheel. Or you can use a blank application. If you click on blank application, this is the view that you'll see on the next slide here. Once you're filling out your profile, most of all this gets filled out for you. So if you have any questions, you can always contact us. Next slide though. So sometimes you'll get asked to have a statement of qualifications attached to your application. If you go to the next slide, basically what a statement of qualifications is it's a usually it's a piece of writing, and it's a discussion of what we like to call our KSAs, or our knowledge, skills, and abilities, more acronyms. So it's a method for hiring departments to screen out different candidates, make sure that you're reading the directions, make sure you actually qualify for the position, and make sure that you can submit writing that is skillful. So if it is required, it will say so in the requirements section, and then it'll tell you what to do. The directions will be listed. This is just an example of one. Next slide, please. So the purpose, I kind of went over this a little bit before, but it's basically that way the hiring manager can kind of see like what your writing skills are. They can see if you follow directions. If there's an application that requires an SOQ and you don't turn one in, that's they're not going to accept your application because you already didn't follow the directions. So it's going to filter the candidate pool, especially in that manner. A lot of people turn in applications without the SOQ. Either they just didn't see it or they just didn't want to do it. And I like to read this verbatim because I think it's really important. A well-written SOQ will get you in the door to an interview, but the interview will be your gateway to the job. So a really great SOQ is going to get you to that interview, but then you will have to sell yourself once you're at the interview. Next slide, please. Just some basic writing tips, and this is really good writing tips for your resume, for anything that you turn in. You want to pay attention to the detail. Make sure to prepare your responses in a concise, complete, clear manner. It's always good to have a second pair of eyes also look at it and make sure there's no grammatical mistakes. Also follow the directions. Oftentimes they'll give you requirements for the size and the font. They want it size 12 in Arial font. So, and make sure don't leave anything out. Always include all volunteer work, personal side business, and internships if it applies to what they're asking. Always allow yourself enough time to complete it, and make sure that you remember that resumes do not take the place of an SOQ. Next slide, please. So you have turned in all your application, and then you get a call for the hiring interview. This is just a few quick little tips on how to be successful in your interview, either with the state or really for any hiring interview. You want to look at the job description, or I'm sorry, the job announcement or duty statement or job description, whatever you want to call it. Most likely all the questions that they're going to ask you are going to be pulled from that job description. Always review the department website. This is really great because a lot of first interviews are going to include the question, how did you prepare for this interview? Or what do you know about this company or this department? And a perfect response is always, well, gosh, I was looking at your website and, I learned this fun fact, and this fun fact about your company, your department. So it just shows that you took the time to prepare and that you do care and you really want the position. Always relate your experience and your knowledge from what you did in the past in previous jobs to the essential duties and desirable qualifications that are listed in the job description for the job you're applying for. And then always read all the job application instructions to ensure you're doing everything correctly. Next slide, please. Okay, so in summary, that was a lot in a short amount of time. We went over the differences of what a master and target resume are and how they can help you. We talked about applying for veterans preference on the state and the federal side, taking any necessary exams on the state side, applying for jobs, and then participating in the hiring interview. These are some really great resources. I'm actually going to post them in our chat as well. Here, I'll do that right now. There you go. But these websites are really great. So the USA Jobs and Feds Hire Vets, Those websites are going to be if you're applying for federal jobs. The jobs.ca.gov, gov, sorry about that. That's going to be if you're applying for a state job. EDD and CalHR have lots of amazing information. CalHR also has listings of all the different jobs that are available online. And then CalCareers, that is their email address if you need to reach them. And then careeronestop.org, great website, great resource to go visit for a lot of things job related. So definitely check out that website. Next slide, please. Also, you can find out more information on the veterans preference in our veterans resource book. It is chapter 6 talking about state employment, and you can always call us as well. Next slide, please. Once again, this is my contact information. You can always contact with more questions if you need. Otherwise, I am going to turn things back over to Mike.
All right, thank you, Jenna. Now let's go ahead and move on. We're going to go to Work for Warriors. We have Anthony here, who is a representative, and he's going to talk a little bit about how they work with veterans across California in finding work. So when you're ready, Anthony, go ahead.
Awesome. Can you hear me, Michael?
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome. Yep. So my name is Anthony. I'm a veteran staffing consultant with the Work for Warriors program. I'm currently stationed in Sacramento, and the Work for Warriors program is a veteran staffing agency that will help any transitioning service member, spouse, working age dependents of the service member, as well as veterans with civilian employment opportunities in the state of California. We cover from all the way up past Redding to the Oregon border, all the way and all the cities in between down to San Diego and the Mexico border. Next slide. So as I was mentioning before, eligible candidates that we assist are transitioning active duty service members, guardsmen in the Army, Air and State, veterans and retirees. We also assist California disaster survivors, example, Paradise Fire, or anything that is a great natural disaster within the state. We will assist people that were affected by such tragedy, as well as California at-risk youth. Next slide. So in a nutshell on how we operate and how we work is we use and operate via direct placement model. So that is myself or any other veteran staffing consultant within the state will assist you if you're looking for employment with either resume critique and writing. So helping you make that federal resume, helping you target a resume to a certain position that's open. If you have any interview questions, we also offer interview prep and practice. We give awesome recommendations on your behalf and/or referrals to any of our business partners that you will find on our website. We offer social media workshops, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as some industry-specific workshop and training. And that could be a couple IT, low-level IT Windows certificates, as well as the BSIS, which is the Bureau of Security and Investigative Services Guard Card, which is required to work any sort of executive protection or security within the state of California. Next slide. So as I was mentioning before, all of California we help. So we have candidates from the bottom of the map all the way to the top. Those are 3 of our actual physical locations that you could come in person for one-on-one assistance. The headquarters is located in Sacramento, kind of by Sacramento State. The San Diego detachment is at the Kernan Mesa Armory, and we do have a person or 2 that actually sits at Los Alamitos. Next slide. So this is just a very quick, shotgun blast of some of the companies that we are partnered with. And when I say we are partnered with, that is someone like myself or another VSC actually having a point of contact within each one of these companies. It could be HR manager, recruiter, business owner, CEO, and they entrust in us to advertise their jobs to the veteran community. We share them directly with you, the candidate. If you see any of our positions, whether you see it on Facebook, on our website, via email, you reach out directly in response to where you saw the ad. Say, hey, I'm interested. This is my resume. I'm interested in the position at any one of these companies. We then take your resume, we check it to make sure that one, it's kind of targeted to that position you're applying to, answer any questions you may have about the position. And once we feel that your resume is ready to go and you're good to go with submitting to that job, we submit that resume directly to our point of contact within the company. So we kind of take out the whole applying online and never hearing back. We pretty much guarantee your resume will be seen by a representative in the company. I always tell the candidates that I work with personally is I can guarantee you an interview. I can guarantee your resume will be seen by somebody. I'll guarantee to get you in the interview. I can help you with the interview, any questions you may have, but ultimately it is up to you to land the job. So I do not guarantee employment, but I will get you in the door. Next slide. Some of the unique opportunities that we have with either state active duty SAD or with the California Military Department in Sacramento. Positions work with the state of California, get your federal rank and pay rate and BAH, which is untaxed. Many opportunities throughout the state. I mean, hundreds, maybe thousands of positions. You're eligible for CalPERS benefits, which is retirement, requires California Military Department membership, which falls under the California National Guard, California Air National Guard, as well as the State Guard. Next slide. These are our social media handles if you wanted to connect and follow us on either Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter. We have a social media team that sits in Sacramento as well as San Diego. I know I can just speak with Facebook personally. I mean, if you send us a message on Facebook or comment on a job that you see, I think the response time is less than 15 minutes. So, and you could also pick up the phone and call us directly. The number will be at the end of the presentation. Next slide. So there's our direct number, the 916-854-4426. That will get you directly to the California headquarters, which is located at the Okinawa Street Armory. That is the workforwarriors.org email, as well as you can send an email to apply@workforwarriors.org, and you will receive a email pretty much instantaneously from either myself or another veteran staffing consultant. Next slide. Here is my direct contact information. Again, I currently sit in Sacramento, but I have jobs personally that cover from Redding down to San Diego. So don't feel that you have to work with a certain person, but since I'm given the brief today, my direct contact information is in here. Feel free to reach out directly to me if you are looking for employment. And I'll be around for the virtual Q&A at the end as well.
Great. All right. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that information. We're going to go ahead and move on now to our last panelist. This is Charlie Richards. He's with the California Department of Industrial Relations. He's going to talk to you a little bit about California apprenticeship and programs that can help you get into that kind of work. So when you're ready, Charlie, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Michael, and good morning to everyone out there. I appreciate you hanging in with us this morning. Again, my name is Charles Richards. I'm a retired Sergeant Major with the United States Army. And my current job now is with the state of California, the Division of Apprenticeship. And also I am a apprenticeship consultant, and I work with businesses and individuals. I'm trying to connect them up together with apprenticeships. So this morning we'll spend a little bit of time basically, first off, covering what is apprenticeship, and then we'll go into how to find apprenticeship programs that are available to you. So next slide. So I always like to start out with what does the state of apprenticeship look like in California right now? So currently there's over 91,000 registered apprentices within the state of California. We have right near 36,000 participating employers throughout the state and non-state, and then 300 active educational institutions. This would be community colleges and unified school districts and such. And then over 8,000 state apprentices graduate on an annual basis. Next slide. So there's more opportunities, more apprenticeship. So most people, when they think about apprenticeship, they always think, first thing is building construction occupations. That's not true anymore today. Apprenticeships are in all kinds of fields, healthcare, IT, advanced manufacturing, and including civil service. We have several programs that are even within the state and also some of the local county and city governments. Next slide. Here's a kind of a wide breadth of some of those that are the non-traditional types of apprenticeship programs and who they're with. Like in IT, we have programs with IBM, Amazon, Sony, SLO Partners, and then Lockheed Martin. Healthcare, we have Kaiser, Dignity Health, Sutter Health. Public sector, as I said before, we get the state of California, the county of San Joaquin, Yuba County, Los Angeles County. And in advanced manufacturing, we have companies like E&J Gallo, Tesla, and then financial, which we're gaining even more ground on today, is several other countries out there, Northwestern and Apex. So again, there are all kinds of opportunities. Now, not all of these programs are open to anybody to apply for. A lot of these programs are implemented by the employers. So they're basically what we call a closed program. You'd have to basically join, like the state of California would be a good example. You have to become a civil service employee first, working for the state of California, before they will put you in an apprenticeship program. So I just want to make that distinction up front. But there is several programs out there that are open to the general public that anybody can apply for. And we'll cover some of those in a minute. Next slide. So apprenticeship, what makes up apprenticeship? Apprenticeship is just like military service. There's two components in it. The first is on-the-job training, and the second part of that is classroom instruction. So as you join the military, the first thing they did is they sent you through basic training, and then they sent you to your school. Okay, so that's your classroom instruction. As you finished your school, then you went to work. That became your on the job. So you there basically applied the principles of what you learned in the classroom onto a specific job that you were doing in the military. Next slide. So let's break that down a little more. So what does the classroom instruction in an apprenticeship really do? So we refer to it as related and supplemental instruction, or RSI, as you'll see it later on in these slides. That training is in the theory and the background of what your job is going to be. You understand the reasons behind what you are doing and why you're doing it. And then the classroom instruction is all the time, that classroom instruction is tuition free. Whether it's at a community college or at a specific training facility, there is no cost to you as that apprentice. Training is conducted at local training facilities, as I said, or at community colleges, and then sometimes also adult education. Some of the courses are taught at their facilities. And in some cases, your time in the classroom that you're actually learning is paid by an employer, or if it's an extended amount of training, then a lot of times EDD will also provide you with your unemployment benefits while you're taking the class and not having an income from the job. Next slide. On-the-job training is basically in there is a formalized, established work processes that you would do as an apprentice. They will never assign you a job that requires more skill or more knowledge than what you currently have. So you'll know that whatever they provide you, it will be a learning aspect of it, but it's not going to be so far ahead that you can't do the job. Again, there's formalized schedule of tasks, and then you're overseen by a qualified supervisor or a journey person. All of your on-the-job training is paid. And as you learn more skills and go to the required courses, you're also provided with guaranteed step increases in your pay. Again, just like the military, over time, the more time you have, more rank you get, then you get a step increase. What's nice about the OJT program is while you're in an apprenticeship, you're also entitled to your VA benefits. Your VA benefits basically would be, you would collect your basic allowance for housing during the time that you're in the apprenticeship program. Next slide. What are the benefits? Well, for you as an apprentice in a program, one is that you're earning an income while you're learning a trade or a craft. You'll receive regular pay increases. Again, as you're in the program longer and you complete all of the milestones, you'll get those increases. You have a formalized on-the-job training program. You're overseen by a qualified supervisor, again, very similar to the military. Formal instruction at schools. You're also going to learn a lifelong skill that you can take with you no matter what. Again, that's one of those things that you put in your toolbox. And then you're also going to, again, receive your VA benefits. Now, what does the employer get out of it? Well, what we found in all the studies out there is that, first off, employee loyalty. Most people understand that the employers have, put some effort into this and they have some value to it. So employee loyalty is really high. Higher retention rates also for the employers. They get increased productivity, maybe not at first because you're still learning, but as your skills increase, your productivity usually increases dramatically. Again, gradual pay increases. So they can hire someone at a lower level, such as yourself. And then as you learn more and more of those skills, only then will those pay increases come about. They also provides the employer with a flexible workforce for the fact that you may walk in with one set of skills, but the employer may need some additional skills, and they would put you through an apprenticeship program to provide you with those skills. And that's also a proven system of training. It's been around for hundreds of years, so they know apprenticeship programs work. Next slide. So key points to remember on apprenticeships. One is that military careers are just like apprenticeships. You start out as the basic knowledge, and over your career, you advance in education, skills, rank, and income. It's exactly the same template. As soon as you begin your apprenticeship program, you start earning money right away. There is no, you have to learn this first for the next 4 years out of college. No, as soon as you get into an apprenticeship program, you start out being paid. You learn lifelong skills that employers are always looking for. And then lastly, individuals, a lot of times in these programs, not only complete an apprenticeship program, but they also go on to better themselves with higher education and get higher degrees such as bachelor's and master degrees in particular fields such as engineering or business administration. So it's not the end of a career, it's just the beginning of a career on any type of apprenticeship program that you may endeavor to start with. So next slide. So how do you get started? All right, so our website is www.dir.ca.gov. And on there, there's a tab that says Become an Apprentice. And then find, under that is Find Available Apprenticeship Programs. There's a link to that. And then from there, you'll be able to search. And so we'll kind of walk you through how that looks. So next slide. So this is what our website looks like. And at the top, there's a band there. You'll see it says apprenticeship. So next slide. There you go. And that's the one you're going to click on. Next slide. Then when that comes up, you're going to see right there, it says Become an Apprentice. So you click on that. And then there, now it says Become an Apprentice. and you'll go down to where it says find available apprenticeship programs. Click on that one. Now this box comes up. Here you'll be able to search by county and or by occupation that you're interested in. So in this sample, go ahead and next. Here, I'm going to look for programs that are in Sacramento, and I'm going to look for an occupation that's surveyor. Next. Here it pulls up all of the surveyor programs that are available or open to the public in Sacramento County. And I'm kind of interested in becoming an instrument man. You know, I've worked out there in construction a lot. And I think that, you know, being an instrument man and then eventually becoming a civil engineer looks like a pretty good avenue for me. So I'm going to click on instrument man to see what it says. Here it shows me that the apprenticeship program information tells me the occupation, how long the apprenticeship program is, and also the starting wage. It says depending on contract rate. Well, most of all these are public works, and they usually pay very nicely. That I think one of the lowest paid jobs out there. I think after hourly wage and benefits. Again, this is starting out. I think it was like $36 an hour. That's just starting. So once you get up there after several years and finish the apprenticeship program, a lot of those programs, like in the operating engineers, you're making about $80, $90 an hour, that hourly wage with your benefits included. So very good. It tells you the minimum age that's required in there, any educational prerequisites, additional prerequisites, and this one calls for a driver's license, physical requirements, if there is any, and then exams. And this one shows that there is a written exam, but no oral exam. And then the contact information. Now I've seen what the requirements are. How do I get started, or who do I contact to get started? And that's where you go to the contact information. Next slide. There you go. So there now I can see that there's an address, there's a name, there's a phone number, and then when are they taking applications? And it says continuous. And this program type of list, it's ranked by your qualifications, and then veterans benefits approved, and it says yes. So now I know I can apply my veterans benefits and receive my BAH while I'm working and making an income. And I can tell you that in most of these positions, once your BAH kicks in, you're probably you'll make more than what a journey person would make on this job. Combined with your OJT and your BAH from VA, you'll make a very nice income, very nice. So again, it only lasts as long as you're in the apprenticeship program, and the wages that are paid by BAH by VA are stair step. So basically every 6 months, your BAH will be reduced by 20%, but you should have a pay raise that from the employer that almost offsets that BAH rate. Next slide. So your support network. So as you heard before, you've got all kinds of support out there. And again, as a retired sergeant major, it's my job to look out for you. And so I would highly suggest look into these resources. There are so many out there waiting to help you. CalVet and their CalTAP program is excellent. American Job Centers of California, you have your county veteran service officers, which we spoke about earlier, helmets to hard hats, Work for Warriors, there's Women's Veterans Alliance, Volunteers of America, and community college vet centers, and there's so many more out there. You just have to reach out and ask them for a little help, and there will be all over it, or they'll help direct you to where you can get assistance. Next slide. All right, for more information, if you're interested, you can get a hold of me directly, and I'll try to help you out the best. My number is there at 916-532-0730, or you can email me at crichards@dir.ca.gov, or you can just go to our website at www.dir.ca.gov/DAS, and that'll take you right to our Division of Apprenticeship Standards website, and you can look it up yourself.
Great. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate that. Lots of great information for all our panelists today. And so now we're going to go ahead and move on to the final portion of the webinar. And I'm going to bring back Jana Adams to help us out with this questions and answers portion. Actually, before we move on to that, let me just bring your attention to this post-webinar survey QR code. Like I mentioned earlier, you should have got an email with the link for the post-webinar survey. Jana probably inserted that link into the chat a couple times. And we also have this QR code right here. So not required, but if you do want to take the time to fill it out, let us know how today went. We could use that information for future events. It's very helpful and much appreciated. So that, let's go ahead and move on now. Jana, if there are any questions, did you want to go ahead and read them out?
Yeah, so it looks like there were some questions kind of throughout the webinar, and we were able to answer them directly. One question in particular, someone had mentioned that they, it was talking about state employment, and that this person had applied for, 10 to 15 jobs over the course of a couple years. And I know that can kind of sound like a lot of applications. Sometimes it can be a numbers game with the state, and that's just kind of being perfectly honest. When I applied with my position, my very first position with the state, this was also about 8 years ago, but I probably put in in about 4 months, I probably put in over 60 applications. So keep applying, apply. Sometimes it can be a numbers game, but don't give up and don't be discouraged. So
yeah, one thing about that too, I want to say is what I know about interviewing or resume writing is that it's a skill. You build it up. And with the more experience, the better you get at that skill. So, don't be scared to go out there and fail at an interview, because all that's going to do is help you out with adjusting your knowledge of either, the business that you're going into, the field that you're going into. What went well, you could use that for the next time. You could work on what didn't go well for the next time. So it's all skills that you build up. And so that's why we say, don't be discouraged. It does suck when it happens, but you use that information and you're better for the next time.
Yeah. I mean, one thing, maybe we're going too much in the weeds here, but I definitely, every time I've gotten a rejection on an interview, I always ask for feedback, because I of course don't like hearing what I didn't do well, but I like hearing it because I know I can change it for the next time I go on another interview. So just something to think about. Other than that, we didn't get a whole lot of other questions. Everything else pretty much got answered. So, actually, I think maybe somebody says, how about the railroad and post office with the same question? Yeah, it's just you would want to, if you want something that's specific with the state, search in the search fields when you're looking for jobs, whether it is you can search by location, or you can put in key terms of what you want to find in job descriptions, and you can put railroad or post office in those search fields, and you can find positions there. Hopefully that helps you. So I think other than that, I think we've answered everything, Michael.
Okay. All right. Well, then this next slide, just quickly letting you guys know what webinars are coming up for the end of November and the beginning of December. Some of these are taking place through college campuses. You don't have to be a student to attend these webinars. You could simply go to our Eventbrite page and register that way and get the login information through the confirmation email. But check it out. Like I mentioned earlier, we are focusing on veterans and their families this month, and because Veterans Day was last week. And so the final webinar on our Veterans Life Cycle is going to be on the 30th, and it's going to be focusing on aging and retirement. So if you have, family members or community members that are looking for resources as they grow older and prepare for retirement, send them to our website to sign up for this webinar or check it out yourself. With that being said, thank you again for being here today. Appreciate your guys' service to the country. And if you have any questions about the CalVet or CalTAP or any of the benefits that we discussed today, please do not hesitate to reach out. The CalTAP email box is email address is right there. We have one of the training coordinators monitoring that box on a daily. So any questions that come through, we'll be able to get them right away. Or you can simply call the 1-800 number. Someone like myself or Jana or even Annette might pick up to answer your questions. Thank you again for being here, and we will see you at the next one.